guys know I trust Barbell Apparel for my clothing, and this month they are giving away 15 grand in gear, including $10,000 worth of home fitness equipment supplied by Rogue Fitness. Barbell Apparel is truly interested in partnering with you to help you reach your fitness goals. Here's the deal for you. If you gain or lose weight, Barbell Apparel will swap out your clothes for your new size. Or if you shred your clothes during a tough workout, Barbell Apparel will swap you out for a brand new item. The team at Barbell Apparel knows it can be tough to stick to your New Year's resolution. That's why they want to bring your goals to the comfort of your own home. That way you can get your training in no matter what your day throws at you. For the month of January, every dollar that you spend on clothing counts as one entry to the giveaway. You will get great new clothes and a chance to win a great new home setup. Let this be the year of no excuses. Get after your fitness goals and partner with my friends at Barbell Apparel who are here to help you do it. Go to barbellapparel.com right now. That's going to help you level up your apparel game and enter you in this incredible giveaway. Or just click on the link below. I'm thinking, I got to tell you, I've been stuck in this position physically and verbally for a couple of minutes here. So told my producer, just turn it on. Let's just start talking here. I'm trying to cover Francis Ngannou versus Joshua. And a story has to have 5 W's, right? Who, what, when, where, and why. If you're missing any one of those W's, you do not have a story. Now, nobody has watched boxing. I don't know how to finish that sentence. I would guess since the 80s. Definitely by the 90s, boxing was done. For boxing. And one thing we've seen with influencer boxing, if you will, is just proof and evidence that the sport doesn't work, but the story does. And what you have with fighting, and MMA is not different, by the way. Like, this isn't a shot at boxing. It's the same in MMA. We have fans, they don't have the foggiest idea what they want. Like, the last person you would ever want advice from is a group of fans. They do not know what they like. They don't know what we're doing. The last opinion you would want is from that of a manager, or worse would be a trainer, and then the absolute worst would be the fighter themselves. Right? You have to have a circus wrangler to put all these pieces together. So, the reason MMA works is you have conflict and conflict resolution. It's the same reason that Judge Judy and Judge Wapner got over. It didn't matter what they were disputing. It didn't matter if this was a car wreck or a misunderstanding or whatever the lawsuit could be. There's a conflict, and then there's going to be conflict resolution, and we're going to move on to the next one, which is going to be another conflict met with resolution. That is what this is. You could take the punches away today, business will do the same. You could take the kicks away. You could take the guillotine chokes. There's nothing about the fight itself that you couldn't take away. You could remove any one thing you wanted. That's not what anybody's tuning in for. But if I'm going to tell you a story, and my attempt here in the last 2 minutes and 17 seconds was just to reinforce with you that it's the story that we're after. And a story must have 5 W's. It must have who, what, when, why, and where. And it's not my job. I'm not the promoter. It is the promoter's job to tell you why these two are fighting. Now, the promoter would fully agree with me, 100%, and he would operate within the confines of the 5 W's for every move that he ever makes when he's operating with his money. When the promoter is operating with somebody else's money, all of a sudden, it doesn't matter. The angle of the camera and the sound and audio for the walkout music becomes far more important than making sure anybody's tuned in and excited about seeing the angle of the camera and hearing the walkout music. You're playing a different game. No promoter would ever let this fight go, or any fight, without a why. McGregor and Mayweather had no why. And at the last minute, they created the money belt. And money belt worked. BMF belt works. Any kind of belt works. There was a time in life where it was very important to be a good fighter or have a good fighter amongst your tribe. Because when other people would come and stumble upon your tribe, they would take it. They would take your things, they would take the land, they would take your life. It was very important that somebody could fight back. And over time, like where we're at now, at least if you compare it to that, the word fight and using those same two words, we're not talking about the same thing at all. So when prize fighting came around, instead of losing a little bit of money and a little bit of prestige, since it's not about land or life or material, somebody threw a belt out there and the belt worked. I mean, they tried different things. They tried a medal and they tried ribbons and they tried trophies and they tried really big trophies and they tried checks and they tried really big checks. I mean, they tried everything. The belt worked. And I'm telling you, as a guy that sacrificed his life, I put everything on hold. I would have given everything back for that belt. I mean, I just took it for whatever reason, but the belt worked. Belt worked on my father. My father came from the world of rodeo, but he would go get on them damn broncs that were bucking and kicking and doing everything else. Try to win a belt buckle. It's one of them things. For some reason, that has gotten over. So, Francis versus Fury, I get bombed. But the idea didn't bomb. The idea wasn't rotten. To take the baddest dude in MMA, who would be the MMA champion, perception-wise, heavyweight specifically, against the baddest dude in boxing, who would be the champion, heavyweight specifically, and put them against each other. Like, there's something to that. There's something there with that idea that does have a value. And then things got weird, right? You got these two guys that go on a media tour telling the world they're going to go make a sport up. They're going to use the small gloves. They're going to fight it, and half of it's going to be fenced and shaped like the octagon, and the other part is going to be roped off and in a square fashion. And we're going to have two referees. We're going to have Meeks and we're going to have Herb Dean. I mean, like, it got weird, man. It just got so weird that by the time the fight was announced and booked under unified rules, Queensberry rule, by the time it was, how loud do you shout, right? I mean, it's politics 101. This side shouting, whether it's true or not, you got to have a louder microphone. It was just one of these interesting spots. Whereas the fight got closer, it looked like, man, they're not fighting about anything. In fact, there's no belt on the line. There's no sanctioning on the line. There's not even a record on the line. They're going to go out here and do one of these exhibition things. And that idea bombed so bad that that got changed. The WBO got involved in WBC, one of these interchangeable mediocrities, and the president even showed up and the belt was on the line. Like things just got weird, right? But trying to fix it. I had the foggiest idea what Francis and Joshua were fighting about. And I'll tell you, like when I discovered that Francis is a legitimate threat, it appeared that, okay, you got the Fury rematch, which isn't going to be right away, but it exists. You got Wilder because he's a free agent. And so now the PFL themselves could actually bring him in and do that. And then you've got Joshua, where Eddie Hearn displayed an interest in putting Joshua in there. Of those fights, I wanted Joshua, and I wanted it strongly. I would have predicted it was Wilder. But I strongly wanted Joshua. I've gotten my way. And now that I've gotten my way, I want to be helpful. I want you to watch the fight. But I don't know why they're fighting. Now, you can fix that. And it's not something I've already get where we go make up a belt. Or we sit the WBO or WBC or president there and we have the crowd play a game of which one is he with? There's the president. Is he with the WBO or the WBC? Like, that'd be a fun game and really hard. No one knows, but that's not where you go with this. You just, prior to the fight, need to say what the winner gets. And equally, and what no promoter wants to do, because they're not understanding, is what the loser doesn't get. There has to be consequence. And that's always missed. Something has to happen that is catastrophic, at least within that person's career. and something good has to happen to the other. So there needs to be a juxtaposition, and that can be explained later. And that could be where Fury comes in. Because the world does want Fury versus Ngannou rematch. Yeah, sure we do. We want it done right this time. It was our fault. Turned out the Sheik and everybody involved did do it right. We missed it. We missed over at water coolers and talking and discussing and here on programs like this one of telling the world, hey, there's something special going to happen here. Give us a redo. So we do want that fight. And boxing itself has wanted Fury and Joshua, for the better part of a decade. So if we can be guaranteed that would be a reason for these two to fight. And I don't think that's a stretch, by the way. But something has to be there for them to fight. You have Anthony Joshua, who is a perennial top guy for, guys, how long? How long? Well over a decade. Can we go 2 decades? Does he go back to the turn of the century? I want to say he came along more like 2008. Aren't I closer on that? But at least a decade. This is a long time. And he's gonna take on a guy that's never won before. And it was a little different when Fury did it, because the guy had also never lost. But now it's just the guy has never won. And it's one of these spots where, hey man, are you a bully? Like there was a time to fight Ngannou, and you could have got a little praise because you were walking into a very unknown. Well, it looked like you're the one holding all the cards, but you also are doing an unknown. There's no footage on this guy. No one had ever seen him. But that is another side to it. It's a weaker argument, but it still does exist. That's not the case now. Joshua didn't say boo. He saw the guy, thought his skills didn't match up very well, and then all of a sudden grew some balls. And that's a tough thing to do. If you're in the tough guy business and you want to be respected as a tough guy, what Fury did involved massive risk. And I'm just saying, with all those things removed, there's got to be a reason these guys are doing it, and it hasn't been told to us. Press conference is going to be in London. Eddie Hearn knows everything I'm saying to be true. In any reasonable environment, Eddie Hearn would say what the winner gets, for sure. But he would also be risking his money. It's a different scenario, at least slightly. So, let's see where that goes. Ngannou versus Joshua is the fight I wanted. And now I've got it. And I'm glad they're fighting. And the Francis that Fury dealt with can beat him. The Francis that Fury dealt with can beat him. But everybody has a good night. Everybody will also always have a best night of their career when their career is done. I would assume that you get better having done it. And we're going to see an even better Francis, but that's not always how it works, right? Some guys get up there and they plateau. It didn't work for Ruiz, just by example. Ruiz goes out, a big old tub of guts. He gets a fight with Joshua that nobody wants to see. He beat the holy hell out of Joshua. I want to say he put Joshua down 4 times. Put him away, I know that, but I think he put him down before putting him away 4 times. And then they go fight again, and it wasn't even the same Ruiz. You couldn't even recognize him. He didn't train for it, he didn't prepare for it, didn't take it serious. He just want to tell everybody that was one time he had a good night. He went and got cleaned up. It's one of those things. Buster Douglas, I don't believe, ever defended successfully over Mike Tyson, right? It's one of those things. Sometimes that's a springboard that takes you up, and sometimes, man, that's all I wanted to do, and you rest on your laurels. So, Joshua and Francis are going to fight. There's even a date. Why they're fighting will be revealed to us. The press conference on January 15th. I hope that it draws the winner into a fight against Fury, and I hope it's made equally as clear. Both of these guys that want Fury, both of these guys are wanted for Fury by the audience, which is us, but whoever wins gets him, and whoever doesn't is out of the conversation.